Okay, so this is the first video of actually coding something, right? So we're going to go back to basics, and I'm on a MacBook Pro. You can be on Windows. I don't know the shortcuts for Windows. I apologize. If people do, just throw them in the comments. But I will be using a MacBook for this. So as you can see, I've created a directory in my local folder, and I've got nothing in it, right? Nothing at all. So we've done the 0 to 10, which is the challenge that we're working on at this present moment in time, gets 10k. And in the first video, we discussed the hub. So we need to build that, right? We need to build a central location that all of us can sign up for. And then if you sign up for it, you'll have access to the various different tools that I will build throughout this challenge. Now, this central hub is going to be quite important, obviously. We're going to have to talk to Claude, and we're going to get it to figure out the best way to create said hub. So how we're going to start is just make a directory, right? Completely empty. And this one we're going to call the hub, right? So now we know that we're inside the hub, and we can start coding, right? Or AI will start coding for us. So here's on my Claude, we're going to change the main directory to be the new one. Yep, the hub. So we've changed this now to be the hub directory, which is empty, right? So Claude will figure that out. And we're just going to start talking to it. So we want to say that let's discuss, right? We don't want to build anything yet. Let's talk about it. So let's discuss. I'm currently looking at creating a hub for the community of AI legends that will be a location that I will build various tools for, things like thumbnail creation, which will be the next one, right? The user will sign up to the hub. Will cost them £3 a month for the infrastructure, for access to the various tools, all of the tools, and they will bring their own API keys and have them saved in their profile settings, which can then be used for the various tools that I create. Now, there's some caveats, right? Now, the caveats. I want to use Supabase, Vercel for hosting. That's it for now. And Auth on Supabase as well. Let's make sure he knows about that. Okay. The future vision of the hub is to allow for other developers to add their own tools to a marketplace catalog, and all the users can have access to them tools for a percentage of whatever the developer has set their monthly access to. So this is for this. So this part is for the future, but we want to make sure that we build this with this deep research on the best to implement this and create the hub. Now, so Claude's going to go off and do its thing now. There's going to be quite a bit of time waiting around, but the reason why I'm not doing anything in terms of creating any code or any boilerplate or anything, I'm starting with an empty directory, is because the whole challenge is that AI will build everything. I'm not going to use my development skills. I may naturally ask questions that you don't, but I will give a list of all the prompts. It's all in the video, so I will show you every step of every way. If you're looking at the highlight video, there will be a version of this where it is complete from start to finish, which is what we're doing now. So empty directory, you have two products in one code base. First party tools are a marketplace where untrusted a bit harsh, third party code runs against user secrets. See, now that is very interesting, that it thinks that that's the biggest problem, which we'll see. The single biggest decision is whether you build one in a way that makes cheaper build, faster, one later, microservice one with a clean tool, contract boundary from one. Okay, cool. Every tool, whether built by you or future third parties, should be self-contained module that declares which API keys scopes it needs, receives keys via injected, and has its own root namespace. Okay, I like that. It enforces from the tool, marketplace load tools for a registry table, Supabase auth progress on us, fits perfectly. Vercel fine for the next JS front-end services API routes. We watch the 10 seconds which we time out for image gen tools. Longer running stuff needs to go on Supabase edge functions, ingest or queue, that's fine. Stripe, not mentioned, but you'll need it. Yeah, okay, Stripe's fine. The highest risk part of the whole system is bring your own keys, obviously. Supabase Vault, keys encrypted, yep, of course. External, KMS, better key rotation story, more moving parts. For your scale, start with Supabase Vault, strict RLS. I think that's what I was going down the path anyway. The marketplace feature makes it harder. Third-party tools code must never see raw keys. Only get a scoped audit handle worth designing the get credentials API, not even for implementation, just to read from Vault. Okay, so I'm going to build V1 for now. I think what I would probably do is, instead of worrying about the API keys and encryption and all this passing across to untrusted developers, is I would probably just have a review process where I add it to the code base itself. Probably easier. We'll do it that way. So that by me, and then so we're going to build V2 and have it differently this time. So we're going to review the process, and the user can submit the app to me, and then we can go from there. So it's easier to keep it all within one code base, and instead of trying to worry about trying to send over encryptions and that sort of nice, scary jazz. Nothing that can't be done, but being as a challenge from 0 to 10K a month, we don't want to keep. We want to keep it as less friction and complicated as possible. So try and keep it easy. Okay. Let's get a concrete V1 plan whenever. Okay, tools server side, awesome. Client side, do tools need persistence per user state? Save projects history, save. Yes, so tools will be built with all backend functionality and front end. Think things like thumbnail generation, CRM projects, I don't know, AI agents / tools. It needs to be able to handle really big functional toolage, because we don't want to be squished or pigeonholed into like it's just a URL on our website. You put some stuff in and you get something back. It's just a wrapper then for AI. So what we actually need is something that's a bit more functional. So for example, the thumbnail generation, I'm going to use. Going to create an image for the thumbnail. It's also going to give me the description. It's also going to give me a title and tags and all that sort of stuff. It's all going to do it all at once. I want to save it, or especially the title and description and stuff, so I can edit it and all that sort of stuff. So we're going to have that behind the scenes. Okay, so Claude has said, change the shape meaningfully. They aren't widgets, they're sub apps, much better. So there's context, okay, yeah, but that's just an example. But it's the same sort of concept where I want to save things to a backend. I want to store it, I want to pull it back, I want to give more functionality than just a website. The Vercel timeout will bite you. Okay, so you'll need durable job runner from day one. Ingest, trigger dev, Supabase edge functions, and PG cron. Cheaper, more DIY, fine if jobs are simple. Okay. Or we could use Cloudflare workers if we had to. I'd pick ingest a tool, contract it, then expose those sync handlers, fast stuff. Okay, we'll hit that hurdle when we get to it. Central loader works at build time, registers routes, runs migrations and services to catalog, add-in tool. Okay. So given really big functional tools, isn't tiny, minimum to ship one real tool. Auth, yes. Stripe, yes. API key vault, yes. Tool module loader, tool uses, ingest wired up, Supabase storage configured with RLS, hub shell dashboard tool catalog settings, one real tool end to end to prove the contract. I'd pick thumbnail generation, XO storage, XO, yep. Okay. So, just to be sure, the hub needs to have authentication, and it needs to have management of their Stripe payments. They should be able to cancel. They shouldn't be able to get in without being subscribed. I might put a trial in, but let's see how we get on without being subscribed. And they can add tools to it if needed. So I want to make sure that the hub is behind an authentication. It's the user has to have a subscription to be able to see everything and get access to those tools. Okay, so auth, subscription gate, Stripe self-service, webhook driven substate. Okay, login users can add tools they've built. Yep, and users can configure, enable tools for themselves. Toggle which tools show in their dashboard, set per tool preference. I'm assuming submission, confirm. If you also want to, in V1, my tool's favorite concept is trivial to add, just to use it. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, tell me the full And this will just give us a list, hopefully a list of requirements that it thinks that it needs. So we're going to have a look through those, add what we want, and then get it to build V1, and then we'll look at V2, which is going to be the dev submission side at a later date. I think if we can just get the hub working for now, get a couple of tools on there that we'll build in this series, and then hopefully we'll pick up from there. Here's the full V1 plan. So we've got a framework. It's going to be Vercel native server, Vercel Supabase Stripe Drizzle, a little bit of Drizzle, Tailwind, Azad, React hook form. Okay, marketing. Here's the public schema. Raw subscription gate. Yes, tools not signed in. Login. Implement middleware. Tool UI files an event. Gets a job ID. Okay, it's gone really in depth for no reason. What I'll need from you before I start is the Supabase URL project. Okay, so the sample tool. Enter. User opens. Enters the prompt style options. If no API keys files in line, it's UI poll job project sidebar. List past generations. Yep. Okay. Bootstrap. Core schema, auth, Stripe, middleware from now generation. Okay, so it's going to build that from now. So let's leave thumbnail generation for now. We only want hub. We will be adding tools at a later date. I only want the hub for now. Get it all up and running, and then we'll build the next video. We'll build a thumbnail generation that will be added to this. Yep. Okay, still open before the scaffold. Diagnosis tool. Yes and no above. Okay, cool. Let's have that. Scaffold in the current empty or fresh GitHub repo. No, the current empty folder. And then accounts ready. Supabase project. No accounts at the moment. Just build with environment config demo. So for those of you that don't know what environment config is, it's basically locally it's like a file that you put in your secrets and your environment variables, and it doesn't push it to GitHub. So in your GitHub you ignore the environment config, but locally then you can test it against your actual keys, and then when you push it to somewhere like Vercel, which I'll show you, you can just update the environment config environment variables to the same name as what's in your environment config, and it will just work. So it's a way of, I suppose, testing it locally without having to push your environment variables up. Very clever. Works a treat. Cool. So let's say yes to that, and then what we're going to do is watch it build everything. Now, obviously, we will be updating this into highlights, so you won't have to watch all the video, but for some people do genuinely like the whole full process, so I'm going to do both. So let's see what happens here in terms of what it builds for me, and then it might be a good time to go over here and have a look for really cool looking websites. Because, you know, keep it simple. And then we can get some examples of for coders, or for AI folks. That's a nice one. Quite like a dark theme. Which one should we go for? Oh, I like that one. kind of want it code-y, but not too codey that no one wants to use it. Okay, let's have fresh UI4. What like that sort of style. I mean, it doesn't matter at this present moment in time, but it'd be good to get some design. Just keep it simple. Let's keep it simple. UI design. I'd like to give it a few examples of what the kind of thing I like. So that's quite cool. So literally just copy image, paste it in. Blueprint style, that looks cool. Doesn't need to be too crazy. Just needs to be functional. Let's just pick something. Go for God, I need to just choose something because I'll keep looking all day. Cool design. I don't know. Okay, let's just pick one. That'll do. It's just I'm just allowing it to do what it's doing, so it's starting to go through building this. So all I've done is copied those two images that I found on Google, pasted it in here, and I've just said, look, make the UI look like these images. Make sure the UI is user friendly and really interactive for people to use. Now, look, I'm no UI designer, and Claude has helped me, or AI has helped me a lot when it comes to designing UI. It's not perfect. I don't think this replaces UI designers, because UI designers are really good at understanding what user needs and how to make it look cool and make it interactive, make it functional, make it useful. However, for someone like me that is a nitty-gritty coder, the creative side is not my forte. So a lot of the tools I'll be building will be to help me with that, and hopefully help others. So the thumbnail one is another one where at the moment I'm literally going onto Canva and building it with the AI that's on there. So if I can use it where I can automatically do it, or give it a link from YouTube or something that will build the thumbnail for me, then even better. Now at the minute I'm just allowing these to go through. You'll start seeing things that you really need to understand. So like stuff like this where they're just installing dependencies, and that is fine. But sometimes I just want to remove things. I do double check it. I have heard many a story of like AI removing folders from your folders from your laptop and deleting the folders because they haven't been searched, they haven't been touched for a while, but it turns out they're like family photos and stuff like that. So genuinely, it is worth just double checking some of those commands, just copying them into Google and seeing what they do, or copy them into ChatGPT and tell me what this is doing, and just make sure that you're happy with it. I know most of it, and a lot of it you can see that it's only running within this folder structure. So if you ever delete anything, it's only deleting anything that's in this folder structure. So it's present moment of the time it's empty. But little things like that you just need to keep an eye out for. You don't want to be spending a lot of time worrying too much about it, but it's just something to keep your eye on. You can change the settings and stuff to make sure that it doesn't delete anything that you don't want it to, but it's AI, man. It can do silly things, does amazing things, but it can do silly things. I might have to put some like lift music behind this so that you're not just listening to me being talking boringness or waiting for this to be done. So a little bit about the max plan while we're waiting for this. So I use the max plan and I use Claude consistently all the time, and I'm only on 22%. It resets in 9 hours. Like, the amount of usage you get with the max plan is a lot. The context is good, and I think they're increasing it soon as well. So it's definitely worth it for me. If you are thinking about going to the max plan, then you already know that you need it, I would say. But look at the other plans, choose the plans below it first, test it out, use that, get to the max on that, and then be like, actually, no, I do need to upgrade it. You'll know by the time you get there that you need it. Any questions about it, just add it to the comments, and we'll have a chat, have a conversation. This is about building a community, not about AI. It's all about, how can we utilize AI better? How can we join forces as a collective to create AI based infrastructures, AI based development, and really change the game really on working together and pushing this forward. This is what we're trying to do. And hopefully the hub turns into something that we all can use, because I definitely will be using it. So we're just waiting on this. Hopefully I'll have something to see. Add a comment to the video on what lift music you want to hear, because we do some like decent lift music. Maybe I'll get that Gandalf one. I just get delusional now when I start talking to AI. Okay, let's just let this build. I'll do a bit of speed up here. I wonder. No, I've never tried to copy a whole transcript. Can you? I'll have to have a look, because I could paste the whole transcript. You can see what happens then. Okay, so it's done something. It's installed the rest of the dependencies. Now, what's landed? Built the layout, got the buttons and cards. 2 I got early on. Want me to push on phase 2? I'm going to say no. I want you to do the UI stuff first. Oh, it's the same picture, even though I pasted different ones. Huh. Oh, that's why. So quick, see if it notices. So it's already made a lot. Damn. We'll ignore that now. Let's see what it does here, and then see what it does with this one. Do we need to make this mobile friendly? Yeah, why not? You can have it on the mobile friendly. Let's do it. So again, it's doing the UI for me. We now want Claude. I assume he doesn't have a he, a she, a they. So Claude. I also say please and thank yous to Claude. Does anyone else do that? I don't know why. But Claude will go off and make this aesthetic, and then once it's done this bit, it'll go straight to my next message, and then try and do that, which is good. So we want to try and get to a point where the UI is somewhat decent. I mean, I don't think it needs to be crazy. It just needs to be good enough. Again, we want AI to do the lot of it. We don't want to do any of it. Quick note on getting a IDE, so where you view your code basically. I use Claude Cursor. You don't have to. You can use IntelliJ, VCode, all the others, all of the above. It's just a way to look at your code. I mean, Claude will do most of it anyway, so you don't necessarily need it. But it is good to see. So if I open that, you'll see what Claude's doing. So it's building that. Your layouts, pages that we currently need. It's in there now, doing what it needs to do. Let's just wait for it to do its thing. I might start pausing while it's doing this. Let's see. Okay, so it's now previewing it. It's now previewing it, and you can see that it's kind of got what I need. Interesting. I mean, it's done a good job off the bat. Obviously needs some work, but it'll get to this bit anyway, and it'll build through. So I was just showing you the initial load, and we'll be back when it's caught up with itself. Okay, so we've moved on now to the next bit. So it's took on that second message, and now it's just asking for the sidebar layout for the hub itself, going off this images. So it's building now the new UI that I've asked it for. So let's see what it brings up. Okay, and we're back now to it's added into in. So let's go and have a look at what beautiful thing it's created for us. I mean, not bad. Not bad at all. Awesome. Looks pretty good. Bit purple. You know what? Let's change the purple. Can't stand purple. Can't stand Okay, so we're going to make some edits. We don't want these, we just want this for now. So in the catalog, okay, that will be next. And then let's start on authentication, logging in. So we need session and link. So while it's doing that, we're going to come over here and start a new project. So the new project will be the hub, and then I'll give it a password. We're going to enable RLS, we want that. It's about $10 a month, and then we'll go create that. So that's just spinning up our DB for us. Takes a bit of time to get the connection URLs and stuff like that, but we've got a bit of time to mess around with this. Yeah, we'll save it, whatever. Okay, so it's just going off now and changing the saturation to a bit less in your face. That's a little bit, that's nicer. Okay, prefer that. It's looking good. Let's see what it looks like in mobile. Okay. Interesting. Oh, is that because it's currently here? Okay. Looking good in mobile. Will do for now. Always made it darker. Oh, nice. That looks better. That looks much better. I like that. Okay, so it's currently doing that. And then Supabase will give you a connect once it's done spinning up, and then here is where you'll get your connection URLs and that sort of stuff. What I will do is show you where they are, and then I'll probably pause it and input this in so that people aren't stealing mine. There we go. So in here, scroll down. Redact it, that's fine. Scroll down and you'll have it in this section here, which is your Supabase URL and your publishable key. I'll redact that from here though, so that I can use this one. Cool. To give you your table editor, your SQL editor, your database, your authentication, and all your stuff that you need, storage, edge functions. So it gives you everything that you need in Supabase. Let's see how we're getting on. Okay, still building. Making it look less purple. It does look a lot better. It needs to build the activity, and it needs to build. I'll probably hide this for now. It needs to build these three. In settings, definitely your API keys, definitely billing sorting out, and your account and stuff will all be in there. Okay, cool. Makes sense. Okay, it's doing what it needs to do. And then on to the next bit. Okay, so it's going to remove that stuff from the catalog now and leave just the thumbnail generator. We'll come back and add loads of tools to here for everybody. And then we're gonna start looking at authentication. So we've already got our cursor. It doesn't need all that stuff, it just needs the Supabase connect stuff, which is in here. Okay. For now, still doing its thing, so I'll pause it for now. Okay, so that is now finished on the catalog view to remove everything other than the thumbnail, which is what it's done. And then we're starting on the authentication flow now. So we have this preview mode, which gives us the login screen. And obviously it doesn't log in yet because I won't give it anything in terms of Supabase or whatever. So it's asked for those things. And it's given us a view of what it's done, which is really cool. In the Supabase dashboard or the URL config. So I don't want it to do that because we don't want it to localhost really. Do we want it to log in? I think we'll leave it for now. I'm gonna skip. I'm gonna remove the GitHub one, just because it's a little bit more. I think Google and just having your email address is perfectly fine. A little bit easier. So keep it simple, keep it streamlined. We want to get this done and get this out as quick as we can. So to switch on to real life drop this. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a repo in GitHub. Let me just log in. Okay, so we've logged in, and then we're going to go up to repositories, create a new one. We're going to call it the hub. And we're going to keep it public because we want to allow people to submit PRs to it. Do we? Yes, we do. So we'll create that. That then gives us this command set, right? So we're just going to copy that, go over to our terminal, and then we're going to paste in those. So what that does is just associates that repo with my local work. So if we do git status now, see that we still got it, and then we'll go back over here and we'll let Claude do its thing. And we're going to ask it after this to GitHub's gone, that's fine. We're going to ask it to create a git ignore file and make sure everything there should be. Everything that should be ignored is ignored. This just means that when we push up to GitHub, it will only push up the bits that aren't in the ignore. So if it's ignoring it, it won't push it up. If it is, if it's not in the ignore file, it will push it up. So just keeps your repo clean of all things that shouldn't be in there, as well as things like fault dependencies that you've installed locally, like node dependencies and modules and that sort of stuff. Just keeps it so that GitHub isn't full to the brim of crazy big memory things that we don't need it to be. So once that's done that, I will show you the results. Okay, so now it's finished doing what it needs to do. So if you're going to have a look at the git ignore, which is here, it'll just have a list of things that to make sure that we're not pushing to GitHub, which is what we want. So now that it's done that, we can go over to the terminal, do a git status again, see where we're at, do a git add, do a git commit, we'll just do initial commit, and then do a git push. Okay, so that now has, or should have, if I refresh, pushed the code that we've been building so far into GitHub, right? And it's created a README of some kind, which we can update as we go. But we now have a GitHub repo. We now have a MVP of what it would look like, and now we need to start looking at implementing the authentication properly in the hub. So what I'm going to do is leave it there because this is already getting very long. And then in the next video, we'll look at authentication and Supabase and getting that all working. And then we'll go from there in terms of what's next. Remember that please follow, please like, please comment on anything you want to see, any tools you want to see. I'm trying to build up a library of tools so that we can start building it as we go. This is going to be a really good challenge for myself, as well as showing everyone what you can do with AI and how quickly you can get it built. But I obviously need to snip it down because it's going to get into crazy hours and we don't want people staring at the screen for that long. So let's build this together, and please follow, please subscribe. It gives me motivation to carry on. Thank you all.